On the 6th of November 1817, the tragic death of Princess Charlotte struck grief into the hearts of the nation. Princess Charlotte was the only legitimate daughter of George, Prince of Wales, who would later become George IV. She was married to Prince Leopold of Saxe-Coburg. Princess Charlotte had already suffered 2 miscarriages, but this pregnancy went to term. In fact, she seemed to be going overdue. The princess had been expected to give birth sometime in late October, but she didn't go into labour until the 3rd of November. Her baby, if it was a boy, would be second in line to the throne. After a gruelling 50 hours in labour, the princess gave birth to a fully formed 9-pound boy on the 5th of November. However, he was stillborn. All attempts were made to resuscitate the boy, but everything failed. The princess herself seemed to take the news quite stoically. She was 21 years old. She would have plenty of time to have more children. Just before midnight, Princess Charlotte began to complain of feeling sick, and she had an awful ringing in her ears. She then became restless and had incredible abdominal pain. The doctors did everything they could think of, but at 2:30 in the morning of the 6th of November, Charlotte died. The male midwife who attended her, in fact, committed suicide within 3 months of her death. So much was the guilt he felt for allowing the second in line to the throne and the next in line to the throne to die. The personal and public grief for Charlotte's death was palpable. But Charlotte's death not only was a personal tragedy, she was very, very popular. She was a beacon of light in the absurdity that was the Georgian period and the Georgian royal family at the time. But it also represented a constitutional emergency. Unbelievably, she had been the only legitimate grandchild of George III. Her death had such an impact on the lineage of our royal family, and yet she's very little known and not much talked about, and indeed goes under the radar, so I am glad to have been able to talk about her today. There was now an absurd competition between the children of George III to come up with the next heir. Mistresses were ditched and wives were found because there needed to be some legitimate babies in this royal family. I talk about this more in my video specifically about Princess Charlotte, but this race to have a baby, to race to have a legitimate baby in the Hanoverian family, actually led to the birth of Victoria, who would become Queen Victoria.